following is a presentation given at the Thai Texas Funding Forum 2015 in January. The partners are TEN and the Business Makers Show, sponsored by Baker Hughes Incorporated. This presentation is from Well Beyond Care, Investment Opportunity and Care Taken to the Next Level.
Let's move on over to Jeffrey Fry.
Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Thanks, Ty Houston, for the presentation. I can make it really quick. My name's Jeffrey Fry. The company is Well Beyond Care. And essentially, I'm going to go over an overview of what caregiving is in America, and we're focused mostly on the U.S. So there's two types. The one side are hospitals, facilities, nursing homes, assisted and independent living, which are like facilities, right? And the other side is in-home. The only thing that we're really focused on is the in-home care sector. Right now, there are two parts of it. One is home health, which is considered skilled care. Like when you get discharged from the hospital, a nurse usually comes to your house. They usually have to change like a catheter or do some sort of supplement or do something that's considered a skilled operation. The other is private duty care, which is non-skilled, private pay, or long-term insurance pays for it. So the only thing we're focusing on is in-home private duty market. And as of 2014, it was a $120 billion market. By the end of this decade, it's estimated to be a $180 billion market. Some estimations put it up at $210 billion, but I use the lower number. So essentially, what is the market today? 95% of all the care in the home, now this is like care for your mom or dad or someone who needs care, is done by private duty agencies. And these agencies are usually regulated on the state level. The model that they have is that they own a franchise and hire caregivers, which they send to your home. On the other side, where people hire stuff on their own, it's about 5%. And most of that's through either word of mouth, Craigslist, or local newspapers. Remember, there's 7.2 million people getting care. This is private pay. This does not include Medicaid or Medicare. This is just people that pay out of their pocket. What I see in the future, 10 years from now, market will grow to $220 billion. And this is going to be the trend. Private duty agencies are going to shrink. And the reason why they're going to shrink is because they charge way too much money. They're not as efficient. And the growing part of the market is going to be people that are empowered to get care on their own, primarily due to the power of the internet, right? So Well Beyond Care wants to dominate that sector totally. So that's going to be 80% of the market going forward. So how is it done today? It's pretty simple. A need comes for private duty care either comes from a hospital, a home health agency, which is skilled nursing, or you're an adult child of an aging parent and you need care, right? And you're not in the same place where your parents are, so you got to hire somebody. So the way that it was done, and the way that I had to do it actually for my mother, is that she was in Alexandria, I was in Austin. I contacted a private duty agency, and it was a franchise. So the thing that they did, they went to my mom's home. They kind of did, quote, an assessment. The starting rate in Alexandria at the time, now this was 9 years ago, was $20. It's a little bit higher now. It averages about 22. And then they required a minimum amount of hours every day. In my case, it was 4 hours. So you go through that, and then what happens, and this was the problem that I had, is that they just put out a caregiver. I had no say on if my mom liked the caregiver or not, or if she didn't like it. They just sent a body that was available, that was an employee of theirs. And then this is where the problem started. And this is on a personal level and with lots of other people. People didn't show up. They rotated their caregivers a lot. They raised their price. It started at $20, and at the end I was paying $22. The quality of care was not particularly good. Actually, my mother got a cut. It got infected. She had sepsis. Was in the hospital for 60 days, which made me move her down here to Austin. And then, like I said, there's rotating caregivers. So how do we do it that's different? So the same needs come, right? They come from the hospital, home health agencies, aging parents, whatnot. But we do something that's really, really different. We have what's called nurse care pair managers. And these nurses can actually market to hospitals and home health agencies. And they're already connected into the healthcare community in every town that we operate in. We operate on a nationwide level, right? So the first thing you do, you create an account, right? It's online. Now, the great thing about this, the person looking for care doesn't have to create an account. It could be a son or a daughter or some protector or guardian of the person needing care. So you just do it and sign up is free. Next thing we do is the minute you sign up, you get a nurse to help you. We call it a nurse care manager. She's an RN with between 10 and 30 years of experience in geriatric care, home health, or hospice. That nurse will help you in creating your account and matching with a caregiver. And part of what the matching with a caregiver is thinking of a eHarmony for caregivers, lack of a better word, but it's matching personalities and needs, and also how close you are to the person that you're giving care to. Part of what we do is you really don't have to search at all when you're looking for a caregiver. Part of our back office is all about matching. So when you create a profile for the person needing care, or if you're the person that needs care, automatically we're matching you up with the best caregivers that are available in your area. So you're not searching. It's automatically doing all the work for you. You know, that's what computers are supposed to do. So we put when you go into your profile, you say caregivers, what are my best matches? Who have I hired? What are my favorites? And who have I contacted? And all along the time, you get a nurse. So if you have any problems along the way, you just contact the nurse, and the nurse is going to walk you through anything you have to do. So that's a great calming effect. If I'm in Austin and my mom's in Alexandria, I would have liked to have been able to call a nurse and say, hey, what am I supposed to do? So once you've done everything, we have a process, right? You contact the caregiver, you interview a caregiver, you get a background check for a caregiver, then you hire a caregiver. So, and this is a screen that shows, hey, you've negotiated a rate with a caregiver. We charge $3 an hour above whatever the hourly rate is for the caregiver, and you hire them. And part of the hiring process is time that you need and stuff like that. And we take care of everything else. All the payments, notices, emails, tax forms, reviews, everything. The only thing you have to worry about is getting the perfect fit as a caregiver. Because the two biggest problems in care right now is that people don't show up and you get rotating care coming through. So what we're trying to do is save you a lot of money and get consistent quality care for you. So why are we better? One of the things that's really important, and this is really important, we disintermediate the industry, so you could save, a family could save between $10,000 and $30,000 a year. You get access to a nurse 24/7 to help you. The most important thing that we have found, the biggest problem in private duty care right now is truancy. 25% of all the caregivers don't show up on any given day. And part of what we found out when we've done this, it essentially goes to zero. So that's a huge industry problem that we've kind of eliminated with this. Like we said, we only charge $3 an hour above what you negotiate with the caregiver. This is really, really important. Private duty agencies cannot do things that your daughter or son can do, like change a bandage, take out a catheter. You can actually have a caregiver hired by our home health agency to do that. So they can do supplements. They can handle medications because it's your employee. So you could do that. That's a big, big cost savings. Right now, for medical management, you usually have to hire an individual every week to come in to do your mom or dad's pills. And here's the other thing. Agencies are regulated by the state. We're not. We're a matching type service that does all the back office for you as well. So what are we? We're an online app, essentially, where, like I said before, private duty is administered by agencies. We help you hire your own caregiver. We save you $10,000 to $30,000 a year. We combined all the best things in matching, back office functions. Again, saving $10,000 to $30,000 a year, and I'm repeating myself. And you access to your own personal nurse. Oh, and it's free to join. So part of how are we going to grow and how do we get customers, right? Well, of course, we're an internet company, so part of our growth is going to come from being an internet company. We're open everywhere 24/7. But the real growth is going to come from the nurse care paramanagers. They're the ones that can refer people in. And when they refer people in, part of what happens is that the uptake rate or the adoption rate is much higher. So when a nurse refers somebody in, it's an 80% adoption rate. When they come in off the internet, it's like 25%. So that's a big other thing. The other thing we do with having nurses is that we can partner with home health agencies. They're the ones that discharge people for private duty care in the home. On average, a home health agency is discharging 50 people a week into their homes for private duty care. So that's a big market. Private duty agencies can't do that today. They don't market to them because they don't have nurses. And then finally, we actually do work with private duty agencies because they have a hard time hiring caregivers, and we're able to corral all the caregivers in every city. So when they have a lull, we can actually give them a caregiver, and we make money on that as well as working with skilled nursing facilities and assisted living facilities. So this is a historical thing from a company that we had before this one to show you what our uptake rate was. The company was in existence for about a year and 4 months. We closed it because part of the members did something that were slightly unethical with an investor. So part of what we had to do was close it down. But we do have some historical data about how it works. The other big problem with it is that the website never functioned correctly. So part of what I've been doing this week, we're about launching the website now, and it will be a lot simpler to use. And that was really important. This is just a data point. So what are the nurse care managers? They act as a liaison between the care seekers and the families. They're a low-cost method for us to secure people. They can market directly into home health agencies and hospice, and they're the ones that are tied to our exponential growth. They're critical to do it. So part of what they do, this is just a screen. I don't want to go into too much detail of it, but nurse care managers make 90 cents an hour. And this is really important because how do you motivate people on a residual income? And some people think it's an MLM, and it is not. It's really more of a mentoring system. A nurse goes in there and she's available. So what we do is we take a part of our fee and pay her to be available for advice and guidance, as well as to market for us. Another thing that we allow to do, nurses can mentor other nurses, and they get a small residual from that of 10 cents an hour from nurses that they're coaching into their system. So our whole system is essentially trying to push all the command and control out into the field, into nurses. And we do it in an MSA, a metropolitan statistical area, like Austin is one, Dallas is one. That's how they're done, because care is hyper-local. So we have nurses managing nurses is on a local level. And that's the best way to do it, not from headquarters. So what is the power of a network? This just shows it really quickly what a nurse can make. Roughly in a half a year to 2 years, working about 10 hours a week, she can make $88,000 in passive income a year. And that's pretty powerful from that. So I didn't want to go into the detail in it. So what do people think? Some people have called us the Uber of caregiving. No, for many reasons. One, we are not going to be outlawed by any country anywhere. Secondly, Uber is substantially simpler to do than what we're doing. So you can compete. It's just getting a ride, a fare, going from point A to point B. Private duty care is extremely complicated, and what we've done is simplified it. So the other thing that we have, we're first person mover in this with getting nurses. We have an ever-growing network of nurse care managers, and we eliminate two of the biggest problems, truancy and turnover. The turnover rate in private duty agencies is 53%. So what's the investment? So if I told you that a $500,000 investment can return 5% a year, $25K, would you do it? If I told you a $500,000 investment can return $125,000 a year for 20 years, would you believe it? So how do we do it? How can we do this? Because this takes the question of valuation and exit strategy out. So every week we send out a bill. There's a $5 charge, similar to like your cell phone bill on there for electronic banking fees. $4 out of that $5 goes back to the investor. So essentially, when we reach 1,000 caregivers a week, we're paying back $125,000 a year for 20 years. So growth. Remember, I showed you the little growth in the beginning. There's a line that says break even, and our break even is estimated to be 6 to 7 months, and that's at about 100 to 110 care pairs. And if you look at that little graph in the center is on the left corner is a little bump on this. Going out into about 5 years, we expect to have over 200,000 people in our system, and approaching about $600 million in revenue. So here's our payout. Real simple. First year, 2015, a little under $100,000, $125,000 for 20 years. And then we round it up after it, and then we pay you your $500K back. And so the use of proceeds, finish the website, hire some people to do some, to advance the nurse care management big system, because that's what it's tied to. The more nurses we can get on quicker, the faster we grow. Of course, doing some marketing, some SEO, and some travel, and then hire contact workers to create organic content. The best way to be found, Google loves this, is when you write articles about caregiving. It's just the easiest way to do it. Search words don't work. They just don't. So people are looking for advice on how to give care to their elderly parents. The best way to do is write articles about it, and that's how you get found. And so I'm done.
All right, Jeffrey, thank you so much. We have time for one question. Go ahead.
I have a question here. Hello,
Yeah.
This is Kumar. I have a question. How do you ensure that the caregiver through your service does show up? And in Uber, if the car doesn't show up, I get another one. How do you make sure that there's an alternative if this caregiver doesn't show up?
Well, there's two things. One, before you hire the caregiver, there's a process. You got to get a background check. So you show that they're reliable. You do a reference check to show that they have some work history. But more importantly, we have an app that when you say a caregiver has to show up to my mother's at 8 o'clock, it automatically comes in with a geo positioning that says when she's there at 8 o'clock, everyone's texted. If she isn't there within 5 minutes afterwards, she sent a text. The nurse care manager sent a text. And everybody in the care circle sent a text saying, hey, you're not there yet. What's going on? Now, hold
that thought. But the thing is, if the Uber car doesn't come in the next 10 minutes, it's okay because I can take a taxi and go. But if this is critical care and my mom needs an injection to be administered in that period of time, we can't play, a hooky here. So what happens?
Well, here's the thing that we found out. In private duty care, that's a huge problem. Right. Part of what we found out, and I'm oversimplifying this, but one of the things we found out, when you hire a caregiver that has more of a familiar effect, she works harder to get there. Yes, there's going to be circumstances that she can't show up, but part of what we do is that we have you get what's called backup caregivers. So the first caregiver you hire, you may really, really like her. She's working 90% of the time, but on weekends or every other day or something like that, one day a week, you have a backup that comes in. And that backup doesn't mind because she's only traveling about a mile to get to your house. She may only work 2 or 3 hours a week, but she's there just in case.
Good discussion, guys. We're going to have to go ahead and close it out. Thank you, Jeff.
Okay.
Good presentation.